Moments of Business is Business 360, and my name is Blyden Okem. In Business 360, the very features in the world of business in and around the scene, looking at the state of things from Global Standards Report and the FOMC minutes. We'll be taking the headlines in the United States. This will be followed by the release of ISM, Manufacturing and Services PMI, Factory Order, Russia, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, South Korea and Canada, along with Services PMI for Spain, Italy, Switzerland, South Korea, the Philippines, Turkey and Mexico. Furthermore, local point for investors will include the Australian as well as Japan Tankan Manufacturers Index. We will anticipate inflation and interest rates data across African countries. Dollar fraud scheme, where he claimed to turn cow manure into green energy, has been sentenced to over 6 years in prison, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California. Ray Brewer, 66 years of age, according to court records. Brewer's scam involved convincing investors he could build anaerobic digesters, large machines that create methane through microorganisms breaking down biodegradable materials, on dairies in several California and in the US. Let's talk about the Tesla cars, electric car maker. Electric car maker Tesla says it delivered a record markets including the US, UK, China to compete with rivals manufacturers. This weekend, major Chinese car makers also reported a surge in sales in June. Earlier this year, Tesla boss Elon Musk said he believed pursuing higher sales with lower profits was the right choice for the company. On Sunday, Tesla said than a year earlier. Meanwhile, the company said it had increased vehicle production to nearly 480,000 in the same now. According to White House National Security spokeswoman John Kerry, the U.S. has eased certain aid limitations on Ethiopia in light of human rights gains. Assistance will claim that violence, including ethnic cleansing, has continued in Ethiopia's northern Tigray. Concerns about human rights abuses in West are a concern in Ethiopia. In Democratic Republic of Congo, they to increase the nation's foreign exchange reserves, which have dropped to calls for reforms in DR Congo. Let's look at Nigeria to the removal of fuel subsidy. The World Bank had in January last year predicted in its June 2023 edition of the Nigeria Development Update, the Bretton Woods institution said inflation would be driven by a hike. Government in June led to an increase in petrol prices from 189 naira to a level on prices would cool off in the first quarter of Zenith Bank PLC has retained its ranking as the #1 bank in Nigeria. The bank had held its position as the #1 Tier 1 bank in Nigeria of $2.54 billion. A statement said the rank based on the 2022 year-end Tier 1 capital of banks globally. Congratulations to Zenith Bank for performing premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, being imported by major oil marketers are to hit Nigeria from next week and may force down the price of the commodity, but may releasing refined petroleum products and credits to dealers from Nigeria following recent unification of the country's exchange, which boosted the confidence to compete with the major oil marketers Association of Nigeria and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on the importation are looking forward to. But the federal government spent $62.66 million to service railway-related dates. Between January and March 2023, the Nigeria Railway Modernization Project, Idu-Kaduna section, took $23.1 million. The Nigeria Railway Modernization Project gulp $24.07 million. The total amount spent in the first quarter of 2023 is a slight increase from the $61.73 million spent in the first quarter of 2022. The rising railway dates, servicing costs incurred the railway sector. It would be a good time to move to global economy and talk about economic data all around the world. We'll begin with economic collapse morning. As at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, Building permits year on year, according to preliminary estimates for Australia, came out at a negative 9.8%. Previous standing was 18.7%, being revised. As at 2:45 a.m., the Kazin manufacturing PMI in China came out at 50.5%. Previous standing was 50.9%. The forecast was to drop to 50.4%, but not too bad compared to the forecast. Inflating an improvement compared to the forecast of 3.6%. Let's look at tank and large manufacturers index for Japan. Second quarter came out at 5 index level. Previous standings was 1. The forecast indicated 3. Economy. Indonesia's annual inflation rate dropped to a 14-month low of 3.52% in June of 2023 from 4% in May, and below the market. The inflation rate stayed within the central bank's target of 2 to 4% for a second consecutive month, after 11 months above the target range. Price is 2.75%. On the other hand, inflation accelerated for housing and furnishing. Talking about the standings, by contrast, prices of information and financials continued to fall. Let's look at the chart indicating statistics Indonesia. As of July 2022, inflation stood at 4.94%, but further dropped to 4.69% before going to a high of 5.95%. October 2020, it hit 5.28% and dropping to 4.33% in April and 4% and consistent improvement in the economy in Indonesia. Also talking about Senegal's GDP. Its economy expanded at a faster 4.7%. Its growth rate since the first quarter of 2022 boosted by 4.2%. On a seasonally adjusted quarterly basis, the GDP decreased by 0.8% in Senegal. According to ANSD, Statistics Department in Senegal, as of July 2020, growth was on the negative, a contraction in Senegal, but went even higher to 2.4% as of January 2021. But moving forward to 2022, it stood at upward to 3.3% January this year and currently 4.7%, indicating improvement in GDP growth of the country. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll be talking about the energy markets and look at the beginning of the second half of the year, where the price of WTI crude is this morning. Don't go anywhere. WTI crude futures traded above $70 per barrel today in the early hours of the morning to start the second half of 2023. Second quarter of the year with losses as a lackluster economic recovery in China, tightening messaging from major central banks also dampened market sentiments. Meanwhile, US OPEC de facto leader is expected to extend a unilateral 1 million also plans to solicit more oil purchases this week to replenish the strategic petroleum reserve, having the standings are this morning regarding the prices of these commodities, the energy market first, and afterwards will high crude is $71 per barrel, gaining just slightly. A 0.7 market is $75 per barrel, gaining 0.457 points, a 0.61% appreciation. For natural gas, it's a little here, little there. About the metal market, we're looking at the prices for gold, silver, copper, steel, and the rest. Gold price this morning has seen $18 per ounce is the price of gold. For silver, it's a little gain this morning, but 23 Chinese yuan per ton. The agricultural market next. Soybeans has gone up by 49 points. Early days in the second half of the year, 49 points, 3.16% by 1.81 points. Lumber dropping 3 points this morning, but palm oil has gained 167 points this morning, a 4.41%. Let's look at the foreign exchange market. Of Kenya's shilling relative to the US dollar as well as a shortage of the Kenyan units. As a result, Kenyan shilling, Uganda shilling exchange rate fell from an average of 30 Ugandan shilling to a record low of 24 Ugandan to 26 and 27 Ugandan shilling versus the Ugandan shilling. But the standings have been quite difficult politically. Let's talk about global foreign exchange, the currency pays, and we'll move straight to the market and see the standings. The Euro USD against the US dollar has seen still difficulties. Current price is standing at 1.08 point mark. A negative 1.9% decline this morning. For the pound against the US dollar is a similar story, still peaking around the 1.26 point mark. A negative 0.23% decline. Let's look at the state of things regarding the Naira. The US dollar against the Naira. Over the Naira at the open of the market today, 2.14 points or percentage points gained for the dollar. Year on year is 86.85% appreciation for the dollar against the Naira. For the euro against the Naira, current price is 831 Naira to 1 euro. The euro gain. Let's look at Naira's performance in the black market, the parallel market this morning. Dollar to Naira to the dollar at the selling rate, just at a peaking level with the international exchange window. Pounds to the Naira at 1,000 Naira equaling 1 euro at the buying rate, and selling rate 815 Naira on the average equaling 1 euro. And see what the standings are this morning. Bitcoin is still battling around the 30,000 mark. Current price is 30,659 US dollar. Ether has gained 40.8 points, a 2.13%. No volatility in those markets. The king and queen of crypto market is dominating Bitcoin and Ethereum. Time for global stock markets. Contracts tied to the three major indexes were all trading near break-even in the early hours of the morning, but a little cap backward to Friday on 1%. The S&P 500 also rallied 15.9% for its best first half since 2019, while the Dow has around artificial intelligence and related companies. Well, it would be a good time to look at what the standing stands at $193 this morning, a slight decline of 0.17 points, a negative 0.09% decline. Microsoft also at $340 is a price level per share, but it's upward by 0.4 on the positive. Let's also see the standings in the African market, what the African stock market is doing this morning. The African stock market beginning with Nigerian stock. NSE All Share, which is Nigerian stock market, points in the market, a 1.43% appreciation, while the South African stocks are all positive this morning. SA40 gaining 350 points this morning, a 0.5% appreciation on the positive too, gaining 378 points this morning, a 2.18% appreciation. Let's look at the state of things regarding the Nigerian stock market this morning, the opener of a new month. The Nigerian stock market, beginning with Boa Cement, current price is 92.25 bank in Nigeria for a 14th year. Its price level is at 34 Naira 25 kobo per share, gaining 0.25 points this morning, a 0.74%, 0.1 points this morning, a 2.13% appreciation, while First Bank Nigeria Holdings, a slight gain of 0.05 points this morning. Lafarge Africa with a slight negative of a negative 4 points this morning. While the stock markets are doing that bit, in the long run, in the evening, we'll have more details.